Welcome, this is Christian Osborne and I will be conducting this demo today. The topic of today will be on Microsoft Dynamics NAV in relation to assembly management as an introduction. Just moving to the next slide. So the demo consists of 5 parts. So as the slides details, the first part will be an introduction into assembly to stock. The next into assembly to order in relation to a sales order, then how you can undo a sales order that's already been shipped in relation to assembly order, and then the fourth part, if you want to process an assembly to order and you already have some available inventory of that item, and the final fifth part, if you want to investigate the cost distribution of an assembly BOM. Okay, so now moving to NAV 2013, one sec. So here in the departments, under the warehousing, you have an option assembly. And before we start the demo will be on the scenario that within Cronus, they actually want to assemble cables that consist of connectors and a couple of items, and also resources allocated to assemble a cable. So the demo has been set up prior to this video in setting up a couple of new items, and also the stock of those items have been bought, and also some assembly BOMs has been set up. If needed, you will find all the necessary information in the manual that goes alongside this demo script. Okay, so now moving to the items. So here on the item list, you find the items starting with the C here, which are the items that I initially set up to execute this demo. So at the top you'll find here the cable, which is the assembled top level item. So if we open that, we look at the replenishment area. Here within the replenishment system, next to purchasing and production, we also now have assembly. Then on the right side, under production, we have assembly as an area, and there you can specify the assembly policy. So at the moment this item is set as assembly to order, but the other option is assembly to stock. Now if you want to set up the assembly BOM, you do that on the ribbon, going to the navigate tab, and then here within assembly and production area, if we click on here, you find the assembly BOM. So the assembly BOM of this cable consists of 2 items, a connector and a cable flex, and to build this assembled item we need half an hour of Linda's time. Okay, so if we then move to the structure, another area that I wanted to highlight, and we expand all, here you then can find a more detailed overview, including the sub-assemblies and what kind of components are needed to build the sub-assembly. So you can see here that the cable consists of a connector. The connector then consists of 3 components, and to build the connector it takes 2 hours of Linda's time. After the connector has been assembled, it then takes another additional half an hour plus the cable to build the final item that can be sold as assembly to order. Okay, so I'm just going to close this, and then we move onwards to an assembly order. So if we go back to the assembly menu here, and we open the assembly orders, there's none at the moment, so if we create a new one, and we select the item being connector, and we want a quantity of 20 initially. After I entered the 20, you can see here that the components are populated on the lines, including Linda's as a resource. And here on the assembly quantity to assembly, so if we initially only wanted to assemble 14, you can see here on the line that the quantity to consume changes to 14 as well. So if we want to post this, okay, and we post that. So it's actually now the system is posting all the assembled consumptions and its output. So if we then navigate and see what actually been posted by the system, and we can see here the posted assembly orders, and here you can then find the posted item ledger entries. So you find here the assembly output and its consumptions. and also capacity ledger entries for index time. Okay, so you can see the 28 hours and against the cost of $10 a piece. Okay, so this concludes the first part of the demo. So now moving to the second part in relation to assembly to order. Okay, before doing that, we just need to finish the remaining 6, so I'm just going to post that as well. Okay, so we have enough connectors in stock to execute the next part of the demo. Okay, so I'm going to move back to my assembly area, and next up is sales orders. So because we want to assembly to order, so I create a new sales order for customer 10,000. Okay, and the item will be cable. Okay. Against default assembly item, default location code blue, because blue is the location we'll be using in this demo. So, and we want 10. So here you can see that the reserved quantity has also been set to 10, and the quantity to assembly to order also 10, which basically means that there's now a link assembly order linked to the sales order. There are different ways to look up this order. So one is you can drill down from the quantity to assembly to order. So that's one way. The other way is you can do it from line here, assembly to order. So there are different ways of looking up the assembly order. So if we're just going to from here. So for example, if the customer phones up and they say instead of 100 centimeters of the cable, we actually want 200 centimeters. You can change that here within the assembly order. So it's very easy to delete, modify, or adjust quantities there. Okay, so now moving back to my sales order. So if the customer also phones up that instead of a quantity of 10, they actually want a quantity of 12. We now get this warning message, which is a first level BOM. So next to the availability of the parent item, the cable, you'll also find the availability quickly of the first level of the BOM. So it basically says, okay, we want current quantity being set on the sales order is 12, reserved is 10 against the existing assembly order, able to make 12, and we have 2 on inventory. So what the system is actually saying is that we haven't got enough to build another 2, but we have 2 in stock already. So I'm just going to click yes here. And if we then look up the assembly order again, the other thing you will see is that everything being synchronized. So here now instead of 10, there's 12, and the same for the consumptions. Okay, so I'm just gonna close that. Now the other 2 things you can do from here is you can detail the exact price and if you approximate time of delivery, day of delivery to the customer. And the way to do that is you go to line, assembly to order, and then here roll up price. So at the moment it's 525. So if we click yes, it now changed to 645. So taking into account the 2 additional items and the modifications made on the assembly order. So another step is that if you want to see if you can deliver on time or deliver, the other option is that you go to assembly line, assembly to order, and line item available by BOM level. I would expand everything here. Now here you can see the available quantity, and you can see what is actually on stock and able to make of the parent item. And it basically details here that you can make 2 additional connectors to fulfill the order. So there are no direct issues in fulfilling this sales order for the client. And another way, so for example, if the order entry person wants to see in the near future if they will have enough items to make. So if we click on that, and we say okay, location blue, because that's the location that we're going to use. So, and show details. If we preview that, here you can then see being the work date being the 23rd of January. So in 2 days time we'll get some scheduled receipts coming in. So then we'll be able to make additional quantities. So there's no immediate concern that we'll not be able to deliver additional sales orders for this item. Okay, so I'm just gonna close this and close that form. So now back to the sales order here. Another way, another action that we can do from here is we can give some pick instructions to the warehouse people. So if we click pick instructions here and just do a preview there. Here you can then give detailed quantity assemble, so you can give a pick instructions to the warehouse. So what actually needs to be picked from connectors and what time Linda needs to deliver. Okay. So I'm just going to click that. And oh, sorry, I'm just gonna. Oh, just by mistake I'm just gonna open the sales order again. So here's my sales order. My mistake. So back to the sales order. We now say, okay, of those 12, we want to ship 10. We change that to 10. And if we now post this as shipped, so a lot of postings are made in the background. Okay, so the next step, the third part of this demo, will be how you can undo. So if the customer phones up and they say, by mistake, we actually need less cable than we ordered, you can easily undo. So you can find out with the warehouse that actually hasn't left our location yet. So we can go to navigate and we look up the shipments, posted shipments, and we view those. And just like a normal sales order for a normal item, you have here the option undo shipment, and it actually, when we execute that, it also reverses out the assembly output and its consumptions, and you'll see that by synchronizing in the background. Okay, so that is done, completed. Now if we go back to our assembly order, show document, and you can see here that the remaining quantity is put back as 12, and we now can make the adjustments as by customer requirement. So one being from 200 centimeters goes to 150, and Linda will spend 1.8 instead of 0.5. Okay. And now, of course, the next step after making these adjustments is that we want to give the customer an accurate new price. So we go to line, order, and order price. Sorry, of course, we first need to release the order, otherwise we cannot make these changes. And that's changed the unit price from 645 to 612. So that way you can on the fly also give a more new unit price to the customer. Okay. Okay, so moving forward, we're going into the fourth part of this demo, because we now want to ship the 12 items, and I'm just going to re-enter this 12 again. We get the same able to assemble form, and here you can see that we already actually have 2 on inventory. So I will be demoing next how you can execute that those 2 are taken from stock instead of 2 additional items being assembled. Okay, so we click yes, and the way to do that is by changing this quantity to assemble to order field from 12 to 10. So now we're only going to assemble 10 items instead of 12, and the remaining 12 to be shipped will be taken from inventory, and you will see that also from the availability here on the sales line details fact box. Okay, and another way to see what actually been happening is by going here to the pick instructions. We preview the pick instruction. Here you can actually see that, yeah, you need to take 2 from inventory. Quantity to assemble is 10, but actually shipping 12, so take 2 from inventory. Okay, so final step is that we're gonna ship and invoice this order completely. So we go to the post area here and we say ship and invoice. So this will also post the output and consumption in the background, so synchronize everything. Okay, so after this is invoiced and shipped, we're going to move to the final and last part of this demo. If we want to get a better understanding of the cost of an assembled item. So I'm just going to close this and then move back to my assembly menu. So going here, and I'm just going to open the cable, the main item. So here, back to the cable. So if we want to get a better understanding of how the BOM cost shares looks like, the way to do that is by going to the Navigate tab and then Assembly Production Area. And if we then look at, so here you've got the BOM cost share report, and we expand that again, and we just going to increase the columns here. So here you can find all the rolled up material cost, rolled up capacity cost of all the components, and also the resources. So for example, you find here the cost that make up the cable item. Okay, that's and the other thing is you can also visualize this. So if I do the cost share distribution visualization, and so first of all I want to do, so you have single level and roll up level. So first I'm going to roll up level, and then you can do all and first level BOM. So I'm just going to first level, and I'm going to include the details. And when I do a preview, here you can then find a more detailed overview of how the cost is built up of the cable, including what the direct cost is and the indirect cost, what percentage is labor, what is percentage is material and overhead. So you then can get a more detailed view of why is a certain assembled item costing that much. So you can investigate and take action. So for example, instead of assembling yourself, you could buy it in, depending on your business. Okay, I'm just going to close this and just do it from, so just share rolled up again, but do it from BOM least, and we do it again including details, and this time you can get a different way because all the components are included in the graph. So this way you can then investigate and take action why an assembled item is costing a certain amount. You can then take action of why is a certain, for example, the overhead too high, or etc. So this concludes the demo of assembly as an introduction on the upcoming release of NAV 2013, and I want to thank you for having taken part in this demo. Thank you.